Welcome back. All right, when it comes to cancer treatment, proton therapy is the option that many patients are familiar with.
So UF Health Proton Therapy Institute, they are an international leader in proton therapy. It's located right here on the First Coast. I recently stopped by their facility to find out a little bit more about what they say is their state-of-the-art radiation treatment for cancer. So take a look at what some of their doctors had to say.
Now, there are people who come from all over the world to this facility. So talk about that. It's a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm. Since we've been opened back in 2006, we've treated patients from 32 different countries. So patients are coming from all over the world to our facility. We also have agreements with different countries. In particular, we have an agreement with the United Kingdom, and we're the main provider for the United Kingdom right now. So we treat a lot of British patients. We have an agreement with Norway, we have an agreement with Ontario, and one with Quebec.
And so why are people specifically coming here from all over the world?
That's a good question. We have 10 years of experience. We've treated over 7,000 patients. We treat more pediatric patients than anybody in the world right now. So I think part of it's our expertise, and part of it is that we've really developed a reputation within the international community that merits bringing patients over for treatment.
You have a new program that you've recently launched or are getting ready to launch with China, and that is having physicians and nurses come here to get the specialized training?
Right. We've been working in China for about 2 years now. We hosted a conference there 2 years ago, and we've had about 8 or 9 patients since that time. But really, we're hearing about cases, but in many times it's way too late. It's beyond the point that we can actually help these patients. So what we tried to do is come up with an arrangement where we can have a company send nurses and physicians over here to be trained in proton therapy, spend some time with us, and they'll go back after they're trained, and they'll help us identify cases up front, as well as once the patients are treated, they can help with the follow-up care in China.
What does this mean for the community to have this facility, the specialized center of training and expertise here in northeastern Florida when people are coming from all over the world?
I mean, it really is, it's beyond a regional resource. It's really an international resource. And from an economic standpoint, it brings a lot of business into the city. From an educational standpoint, we're able to train residents and fellows in areas like pediatrics that they couldn't get trained elsewhere. So it really opens up the door for a lot to be built up within the city of Jacksonville.
And for those people who are thinking, what is proton therapy? What does that even mean? What does it mean to receive this kind of specialized treatment?
Proton therapy is a very specialized form of radiation therapy where we're using protons instead of X-rays to treat the tumor. And by using the protons, we can be very precise in where the radiation is actually going, thereby hitting a lot less of the healthy tissue around the tumor. So the majority of the radiation is getting to the tumor, and the spare tissue, the healthy tissue around the tumor is being spared.
Which is a wonderful thing for treatment, obviously, recovery, and living a meaningful life.
Absolutely, particularly in children. Children are very susceptible to radiation damage. They deal a lot with secondary cancers that may develop down the road. They have growth abnormalities, they have mental issues or intellect issues that develop over time from the radiation exposure. So by minimizing the amount of stray radiation, we're able to actually really improve their outcomes.
For parents who might be watching, or people just in general who are learning now about proton therapy, I know it relatively has been around, how long would you say?
Well, the actual technology has been around since the 1940s.
Okay.
It wasn't until the advent of improvements in diagnostic radiology, both in X-rays and things like MRIs, CT scanners, that they were able to do a much better job of visualizing the tumor. Once that came into play, that's when protons really started to take off.
And if there's somebody who's watching who, unfortunately finds himself in a position where they need to learn more about this, what is the best first step for them to take?
Really, contact us. We have a lot of information that we send out to patients the next day. There's a lot of good information on our website about proton therapy as well as about the center.
Good deal. Thank you so much for your time and your expertise.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we want to thank UF Health Proton Therapy Institute for sponsoring that segment. For more information, you can visit floridaproton.org or call 904-588-1436.